Good morning, everybody. I think people are still kind of sifting in, and if there's people sitting in the other building, hopefully they'll figure out to come over here. We're combining classes this morning, and then we'll hear from Robin and Wendy. So, as a blue check, but let's just pray together, and then Robin and Wendy will come up. God, we're thankful that we can gather again this morning and have a special time of update about Robin and Wendy and their mission and the things you're doing, the things that they're up to. And we ask that this would be just an encouragement to us and an encouragement to them as we gather, as we fellowship, and as we come around your truth and your blessing upon us, whether it's here or across the sea. And thank you for this time together. We ask your blessing. Please be with us in Jesus' name. Amen. So most of you know Robin and Wendy Gutierrez they're from Ecuador, or they're in Ecuador, and we've been supporting them for a number of years, and they're here off and on. I think they said they were here 3 years ago or so, and they're back to share about their mission and encourage us, and we can encourage them as we gather around and have potluck and whatnot later. So, Robin, Wendy, would you guys come and share with us?
Good morning. Hello? Okay, good. We're just so happy to be here this morning. Thank you for having us, and thank you for supporting our ministry, the school in Ecuador, for 16 years. We are grateful for that, and grateful and thankful to the Lord for using us with the children and the youth in our community in Ecuador. We are going to be sharing some, like a PowerPoint, and then at the end we will be just be open for questions. So just feel free to ask any questions or something that we didn't explain well, or anything that you want us to ask. But I'm gonna get the PowerPoint. Okay. So this is our family. For those who don't know us, we have 3 kids: Joshua, Caleb, and Bethany. And Joshua he just went to college. He's in Virginia. He wants to become a pilot. So, like Pastor Ron's son, I think. So one day he said, I just want to become a pilot. And I was thinking, wow. So this is what he is studying, and we just pray that the Lord will help him to finish. He's struggling with psychology. He has a psychology class, so he said, Dad and Mom, that's hard. And Caleb, he will be finishing high school through Shemekra this term. And Bethany is in 4th grade. She's going to Cross Hill Christian School. And Wendy's taking a few ESL master classes through Biola University. And I'm as well keep helping the school. Now that we are here, we have a new school principal and a school administrator, so we keep helping them through from here. And so this is what is happening with us while we're here. And I want to let my wife to.
So I'm not learning English. I'm actually studying more to teach English. We've been doing that since we got to Ecuador, and I never had any training in it. So during the time in COVID, we were sitting at home. I was sitting on the computer, teaching children, teaching youth through the computer, and coaching teachers. And I thought, God, I think you've really put this in my heart. Think I'm kind of good at this. Maybe I need to learn more about, how to do this well. So I've been back in school. It's kind of difficult.
So she's learning about the adverbs. She's learning pronouns, how to use them well. So anyway, this is about an update about our family, and our kids are just growing up, and I don't know how long ago they were invited here to a platform, and the church had a Christmas gift or something, a gift for them. So they decided to fight here on the platform when they were kids. Fighting over, I want this and I want this and I want that. Anyway, so for us as parents, we're a little kind of embarrassing. Our kids fighting in church for. Anyway, but yeah, we never thought that our kids were going to grow so fast. So sometimes I think, why I didn't listen to, enjoy your kids, enjoy your children while they're, young or little. So, but it's been a great experience to be parents. Now we are learning to be parents of teenagers. So just pray for our kids that they will stay with the Lord, that they will serve Him in any way God will have them to, for them. Great. This is our last high school senior class that graduated last school year. And so Joshua graduated from our school in Ecuador, and also he graduated from Sunland Christian School in California. So he graduated from two schools. There were 9 kids, and actually in the picture there are 8. The 9th student, we have a nice story about him. He was a special needs student, and that's why he is not in the picture.
And we've actually graduated from Emmanuel Christian School 195 students in the last 10 years?
11 years.
11 years? Robin's better with those statistics. And most of them have gone on to college, which is actually accomplishment in our community because Macas is small and there's not a lot of opportunities in Macas to study. So the students often have to go to the city, and there's not dorms, so they have to find a place to live, and it's a lot of expense for their parents. But more than that, we've seen that some students, they don't have the academic level. If they come from the public school, they may not do well in college because the college teachers are not kind. I've seen here college teachers are much kinder than in Ecuador. They often will have like 200 students in a program, and the college teachers will want to have less, so they purposely make it very difficult the first year to try to weed out students. So we're really thankful that many of our students now are professionals. They've graduated, they've come back even to our community, and are helping give back to the community.
One of our English teachers, she graduated from our school. When we were interviewing her, she said, "Teacher Wendy," and she said, "You were my teacher when I was in 2nd grade." So, and I always remember that she used to enjoy learning English and other subjects as well. So we're just happy that she is teaching at the school. Oh, sorry, I'm still learning to use this. Uh, this is our new building, so we want to give you an update. Um, Many schools in Ecuador during the pandemic they closed, um, as I think in the entire world, many businesses went out of business, many families lost their jobs. It just was a crisis, I believe, in different countries. COVID was handled in a different manner, but in Ecuador, COVID really affected in the economy, and so that's why many schools they closed. Um, I remember, like in less than a month, we had to put the school just online. Um, I didn't know how to use Zoom. I had to learn. Sometimes I was trying to share a video, but people were saying, I can't hear you. I can hear the video because I didn't click, share with sound. So it was very stressful, but the Lord helped us to learn, and I believe with our staff, we really did a good job. And this year, um, we enrolled over 400 students because I think um, we I think we did a good job during the pandemic, and we handled very well. I had to call a lot other schools who have more experience, more resources. So they were also nice and helpful, teaching me how to do things in a better, or professional way. So we are just grateful to the Lord that we did not have to close our school. So in fact, during COVID, we received a lot of donations. So we were able to help families who couldn't pay tuition. A lot of families just left the school without paying tuition. But during this time, we were able to help even more than before. So I believe when I say we, I'm including you because this church also helped a lot. And also we were able to build a 6 classroom. So the picture that you are seeing there is um, um, was built on the new school campus, and it was amazing because during COVID, in order to return to in person, um, and the government had to, we had to prepare have a plan, so we can return to teach in person. And one of them was to keep social distancing. So if we had like 20 or 25 kids in a classroom, that um, that classroom had to be divided in half, perhaps. So one day someone said, I would like to donate this amount of money to build classrooms. And then in less than 3 months, we had about, it was a matching fund gift. So in less than 3 months, we had about $80,000 to build those classrooms. So now our junior high and high school, they meet uh, at the new school property, the new campus. So, but I know that this church also prayed and also helped as well. So thank you for that. And God's timing is just is perfect. Sometimes um, we can go into panic. Sometimes we can be so concerned about, but I think God has just His exact. And so this is when I've learned so many lessons during COVID, many lessons. Um, I just felt sometimes that the world was just, was just getting to an end, because we had so many restrictions, like just being able to be um, out for um, like to drive twice a week, perhaps from 6 a.m. to 2 p.m. So after 2 p.m., no one was driving in the streets, just quiet. And then we had the police, go home, just, go home, go home. All of business is running, shutting down. It was just, it was very scary. So um, I think we all learned so many lessons through this time.
And the parents also were so grateful because the whole 2020 and 2021 school year was all online. And Robin said, "Can you wait a little while because we're building some new classrooms for your junior high and high schoolers?" They were all said, "Yes, thank you." They were really excited that their students got to go to school on the new property where there's a creek and there's it's just very natural compared to being in town. So it's interesting how God works. We were actually not thinking to build at that time, but due to the fact, like Robin was saying about the classroom size, we did have some extra classrooms at the church building, but they were too small to accommodate our class size because we had to measure and then see how many students can we have in this room, and there wasn't enough room to have all the junior high and high school classes and the elementary. So it's interesting how God provides sometimes in ways that we're not expecting.
Yeah, I remember the officials from the education office. They will come with this checklist. We have one classroom that when it rains, because in Macas really rains. There's a leak there, and every time they will come to inspect, there's mold, a lot of mold. It's just wet, and when it rains in the morning, we will have a lot of water on the floor. So they came to inspect, and they said, you need to fix this, you need to fix this, and that. So I was just getting frustrated that every time they would come to inspect, we would have rain the night before. So I just told the lady who's in charge of that, I said, okay, we're going to be wise. I said, we are going to ask them to come to inspect in the afternoon, not in the morning. I said, so if that happens, we'll have just paint, some paint ready for, so you will paint in the morning when. So, but I'm just trying to say, sometimes they will, in order to return to in-person, class, they will just come with a checklist to measure. They will check this and that, which is good because also, we are, trying to have a safe place for the kids anyway. But I'm just saying that parents and students and staff and teachers, we were just so happy and grateful that the Lord provided 6 classrooms. And we now have 3 locations, one for our preschool group. We have over 100 kids there. At the church building, we have 200 kids. And then at the new high school building, we have over 100 kids too. So this role will enroll over 400 kids. So we're just thankful for that.
I forgot. Oh, I know what I was going to say. This is a picture of one of the new classrooms. One thing that we have a burden for also is that a lot of the students from the public schools, they didn't receive a lot of education during COVID. They were just given packets to fill out. And some of the teachers were helpful with the packets. Some of them weren't. Some of them, they just, left the packet for the kids to pick up, and they had to return it in a month, and they didn't get any instruction, some of them. So with the provision of the new campuses that God provided, our students have to do volunteer hours and so in the spring semester last year, we were able to start a little program for kids in that community, many of them from poorer backgrounds, lower economic backgrounds, that they were able to come to our campus on Saturdays and get some extra instruction in reading and math. Little kids, that some of them couldn't read. They were already in like second, third grade, and they couldn't read. So our high school students provided that. They provided Bible stories, games, and what a blessing. That's what we want to use this campus for, is to be a blessing to the community.
Also, what we noticed that we have a lot of kids with special needs, with autism, and this year we have about 15 kids. We never had that number of kids, and we had to ask other parents to wait, because we have just enough students that we can manage and help. So that's another need that we are seeing in our community.
So this in this picture, the boy in the front is Galo, and he is in this year. Yeah, this year he's in 8th grade, and he takes the bus to school. It's about 40 minutes to get to school, and this is his second year at our school. He has autism, and I was so pleased to see his classmates just receive him and help him with his schoolwork. One of the students talked to me about, Teacher Wendy, I'm trying to help him, but he doesn't get it, and online. So I asked the teacher if I could do part of it for him, but because he was trying to help him online. But he plays soccer. He was in our school band last spring, and he learned to play the drums. Robin was a little worried if he was going to get it, and it took him longer to figure out the steps and everything. But the day of the parade, he was smiling, and the person that works with the special needs students came to my husband and said, autistic kids hardly ever smile, and he's smiling. This is a really, really big step for him. So we saw that even with the band, it was a help to him, and we're praying that he'll really come to understand more who God is through being at our school. And we want to have more students like that at our school. We keep praying about how can we offer more services for the special needs students in our community, because many of them, if they're in the public school, they're in a classroom of 40, and they're given something to color maybe while the other students work.
So sorry. So this is Gabriel. He graduated. He is a 9th senior who graduated from our school. So I watched this video on YouTube when this kid somewhere here in the U.S. was graduating, and then the master of ceremony, she said that when this student walks in, no one is going to clap or cheer. Everybody's going to just say, just like a cheer, like a sign language, something like that. So I took this idea, and then instead of having Gabriel to force him to walk or to do what the other students were doing during graduation, so we had a special chair for him. So instead of asking him to come to the front and receive his diploma and all the ceremony, so we had the school principal come to him and do all the ceremony stuff. So he is graduating. What I like about him is that he likes to write a lot. So in fact, the same day of graduation, he wrote me about 9 in the morning. He said, "Teacher Robin, I would like to be at at the ceremony at 2 o'clock. I said, Gabriel, ceremony is 4 o'clock. He said, but I would like to be in advance because that's his like disability. Like he doesn't walk. He doesn't walk when into a big group of people. So, in fact, he will get very early in the morning. So he will get first, and then his classmates will come, later. And sometimes he will bring bananas as a gift for the teachers. Or sometimes he will text me at 8 o'clock, 9 o'clock, are you at home? I said, yes, I have bananas, or I have yuca, I have something. But he won't bring just 3 or 4 bananas. He will bring the whole head of bananas. And sometimes we don't know what to do with so many bananas, Sometimes we were out of town and he says, I'm coming right now, have bananas. I said, we are not at home right now. What time are you going to be home? Maybe in 3 hours. Okay, let me know when you get home. So, we are just. I like the story because we don't know. I don't know what was going in his mind, but the way he expressed his gratitude, bringing bananas for the teachers, to me it's something big, but he doesn't talk. For when was recess time, he will just be sitting in his chair the entire time. So for Christmas he cooked a turkey because in Ecuador we eat turkey at Christmas time, not Thanksgiving time. So he cooked a turkey for his class, and I think that was his love language, just to do something for others. So for us was just he taught me a lot, basically.
And we were excited for him that he was able to get his high school diploma and then also his professional driver's license. His family has taxis, so he, I don't know if he's out there in the community driving a taxi yet or not. I said to Robin, well, how's he going to ask the people where they want to go if he doesn't talk? But I don't know. We'll have to see when we get back if we can go for a ride in his taxi.
Keep going. So these are our preschool group, just a small group.
It's the first day of school. They had a little program.
This is our elementary. We do chapel once a week. And this is our high school, junior high and high school at the school property. So in the back, there's the school, the 6 classrooms that we built. These are prayer requests for new families and students who enroll this year, that they will meet Jesus. So that's the main reason why we exist as a school. Compared to schools here in the U.S., like our daughter Bethany, she goes to Cross Hill, and we see that the main focus is more like a discipleship, and we like that. But the main focus of our school is evangelism. So about 80% of our families, they don't go to church, or they believe in other, I would say gods, or just different faiths. And this year, like I said, our total number is 410, but we got about 116 new students. For wisdom, strength, and unity among the staff, that they will be shining lights with everything they do. We have about 20% of our staff who are not Christ followers, but we don't place non-believers at the lower levels, perhaps like a preschool, elementary. We That's basically our second option when we can't find you know Christians that um, with the knowledge perhaps to teach math or chemistry or more like special subjects. So that's why we go. Our second option is to invite non-believers, but they will have to agree to support our mission and vision and to support our values as a school. And um,
And you can pray for those ones that are not, that they'll come to know Christ. We have had some staff members that came in, honestly said, I'm not a Christian, but I'm open. And some of them have become followers of Christ as staff with us.
yeah, in fact, one of the ladies who I will say, I will tell everybody, you work so hard, you are the best one of our staff. But she, when we interview her, she said, I'm not a believer. I know about everything about Christianity, but so far, I'm choosing not to give that step someday. And now she is a Christ follower, and she works so hard in making sure that the classrooms, buildings, and everything, the maintenance, goes well. So, but as a school, we try to be careful about hiring, and also we need a lot of wisdom, to hire staff, and that's why, when sometimes we don't have a preschool teacher, I will just tell our staff, our coordinators, maybe you need to take the class because I will not place someone who is really good, because for us that's the when we're planting the seeds. So, and then when they are already, junior high or high school, I believe, they, they can make decisions or more, think about than better than a 3-year-old. Um, for God's provision, so we can build more classrooms for our elementary school at the new school campus. So we're just praying that the Lord will keep helping us to keep building more classrooms, because that has been our main, I would say, barrier for our 16 years that we are directing the school, just the space or classrooms. But like I said, during COVID, I've learned so many lessons, and I keep learning, and for sure I will keep learning more lessons. But I'm still learning to and trust the Lord that He is exact. He is His timing is so perfect. For our family and ongoing changes, Joshua is attending college, and Caleb will be next school year. So Caleb is still thinking, deciding. He doesn't know what he wants to study and what he wants to do. So that's another prayer request.
You can also, Robin actually had COVID 4 times in the course of 2 years. So you could pray for his health. He sometimes still gets headaches that seem to be like a result of that. It mostly occurs when it's damp and wet, which hasn't been as much here. It's been nice to be here this summer. But you can pray that his health will be good and that he can find relief from that.
It wasn't nice too. 4 times. For all the programs and activities planned to serve families and students at the school, we see a big need also to focus on giving tools for families. Like I remember when I was when our kids, our boys, our children were just young, I didn't know how to be a dad or a parent to them. So sometimes we see the same things at the school. We receive um, little kids, and I see that those parents are learning how to parent them, how to be good parents. So we, as a school, we're trying to identify, the right, perhaps resources to help those families, and also since we are, you know, um, almost maybe ending with our two boys, being parents of, teenagers. So I'm also realizing that, you know, we need help how to be better parents, because um, if I knew, how to help them, probably I would have made, mistakes perhaps. So we as a school are trying to identify, what perhaps classes or resources to provide for them as families. Also, what we are seeing is during this time, when we were enrolling, um, every day I will receive like five new applications, requests for enrollment, and from the psychologists, because our students, they have to go through an interview, so we can see if we are able to serve them. So every day I will receive like already five new kids approved from the psychologist. And for me, it was very interesting. Out of those five, four will say that they don't live with mom and dad, or they will live only with either mom or dad, because their parents already left to Spain, mainly here in the U.S. Um, for work. So I mean, for me, it was kind of interesting, and to pay attention, how we're going to be helping those kids that are being raised by other people, perhaps. So and for financial support for a family, since some supporters couldn't continue, so we're just praying that God will just help us with that. Um, Also, we are looking for teams for next school year to come and help with our English program in July. Every year we do like an English day camp for 2 weeks, and probably we're going to have a team from Washington, D.C., from that area for a week. So we will need another team or a group of people to help us for the second week, perhaps. So. And the program is to teach English to kids from the community. And it's not only for our schools, it's open to the community. Also for individuals, people to come and volunteer for 3 months at the school to use any of the skills or professions, anything. We are open to come and do ministry together there.
This is a new program that we're starting this year. If you can just be in prayer with us about this, is that we've realized that our students and our families are all from all different backgrounds, from all different situations. Some of them, are a single mom and very lower income, and say, I can pay maybe half of the tuition. Can you help me? Others come from situations, of better economic situations. Their parents work for the government. But we've found that the tuition that the government authorized us to pay, to charge, it's really too much for our families right now. With the COVID, and some of them are recovering, their businesses are recovering. Some of the government employees aren't getting paid on time, we heard this week. So what we committed this year was to a campaign that we're calling Education for All. The first thing is to find donors that can help so that we can keep the tuition low for all students. And then also to reward families that pay their tuition on time. So give them a little bit of a discount that will encourage them to be on time with their payments. Another one is for our staff. We're committed to provide a discount for the children who attend our school that their parents are on our staff. We don't pay necessarily what the public school pays our staff. We do our best with what we can with the tuition that we have. So one of the things we want to do is help them invest in their children's lives. And there's more. And also, like I said, some of the students come from lower economic backgrounds, so we're looking for child sponsors, and also for people that want to sponsor children of pastors. We have pastors and missionaries in our community that want to have their children at our school, and up until this point, we've been able to help the ones that have asked. We have a couple that the school is helping right now that we'd love to have a donor for. We actually have a new family in our, well, they're not new to our community, but new to our school. They're Korean, South Korean, and they're missionaries in Ecuador. They work in the jungle communities, more like church planting work, and they wanted to bring their boys to our school this year. So we were able to find a donor for them. So that's the kind of families that we also want to help. I just wanted to mention quick before we have questions, because this might be one of the questions, is you may have seen that the students, they used to look really cute with like little uniforms. And we've been in the process of changing the uniforms, and we didn't want the families to have to buy books at the beginning of the year and new uniforms, since they all outgrew their uniforms that they used before. So we're in the process. They are going to be wearing uniforms this year, but it will be November, December when they start buying the uniforms.
Do you have any questions? So this is a little update about what's going on with the school. So any questions? Until the beginning of January, going back to Ecuador on January 3. Mm-hmm.
You had mentioned that since you were here, you had a new principal and administrator. Will they stay when you guys go back, or how will that work?
I asked the three of them to commit at least 2 to 3 years. So, like at the end of this month, there is an AXI training in Colombia. So we are sending her and 3 other coordinators to that training. So they are excited because I think for the 3 of them is the first time to go to another country and use a passport and have stamped and do customs. So they're excited about that. So they are learning. They have good hearts, but almost every day I will be, just coaching them. And she is young. She's only 25. She was our psychologist last year, and I saw that she had good administrative skills because. I don't know. I've tried to have a school principal for so many years, but they just want to do something else. They want to help in other areas of the school, but being the principal, sometimes we have to deal with, parents are not happy. Sometimes, lesson plans perhaps, because we are very regulated by the government. That sometimes we have to use, the lesson plans, this format, it has to be this way and this way. And sometimes those little things, our teachers, probably they don't quite, they're so good at teaching And I believe the same thing. We want to focus on the teaching and making fun, and but the government's just a lot. This paperwork has to be done in this way. So yeah. So I hope she will last.
It's hard to fill Robin's shoes because he's been now 16 years. Sometimes other people have come in and worked beside him, but I think they think sometimes like, well, he's doing a good job with it. I'll just give it back to him and I'll just teach. So
I mean, I would just tell her, "You're doing great." I mean, she's doing fine. But I mean, she's 25. I'm almost 50, and I've been doing this for 16 years. And she's just starting. I will say, you are just fine. Because sometimes it's easy sometimes to compare. And also, I mean, I made a lot of mistakes. I mean, and this is how it is. But I'm just helping as much as I can, and I realize someday, that they will just keep running the school, and anyway, so. Great. No, we like questions.
You had mentioned that the government has very strict guidelines of how you use your curriculum. Are you able to teach like from a Christian perspective, or do you have chapel times, or how do you incorporate Christianity in your school?
Because the Catholic Church is so strong in Ecuador and there are Catholic schools, that we are allowed to teach, they say, religion. At least 2 hours a week, I think. With our preschool, because they're not very regulated, they have every day. They have Bible lessons every day, and they have a little book that we've put together over time where they color or they do activities related to the Bible lessons. But for the older students, we have chapel once a week, and then besides that, they start the morning with a devotion and with prayer time, and then they have like a Bible class where we have a curriculum that they're going through that was created in Ecuador by a really good Christian ministry that teaches them the Bible. And the same thing at the high school level. It's a little bit more, the material at the high school level, it is a little bit more analytical, thinking about values and looking at it from a biblical perspective. So we feel blessed actually by that. It's a benefit that there's, I guess it's a benefit that the Catholic churches have pushed for that in Ecuador, so we're able to do that.
It also depends also the government. For the last for 10 years, perhaps there was so much restriction about Christian education, but with this government, they are more open to teach Bible and Christian education.
Yeah, I forgot to mention that for a while they had this rule that our textbooks had to be approved by the government for a while, and so we would sometimes use a book that was more biblical as supplemental. But now we're able to, we're using the Spanish version of a Becca book through 9th grade now, right? For language and math and science. And then social studies, we have to teach the Ecuadorian social studies. But we've been blessed. I really like I've used the English version too with our English program, and I really like the way that Becca, they incorporate Bible right into their books. And it's really easy to have spontaneous conversations with kids about Bible stories, and people of the past who were Christians, things like that are just included in the books. So I've found as a English teacher, when I've used that material, it's makes it very open atmosphere to talk about who God is and about my faith.
This year, this year we are using the Spanish version of Abeca from Mexico. So I've learned to import books I found this friend in Quito, the capital, so he's helping me to bring the books through his tax ID number. But also, I'm just thinking that when there's so many restrictions, also helps me to read the Ecuadorian law, constitution, education law. So I will grab, this law and this law and this law to make our point why we want to teach Bible and why we want to teach more hours, of English, to show it to the education office so they won't, do something to us. So I think this is what I did when we had so many restrictions, just to read the Ecuadorian Constitution and just make our point as a school. We are not harming our kids. This society, our town, our community needs values, So, I mean, sometimes when we see it from another perspective, that can be, harming. But I learned basically a lot to make my points, and they will be happy with that, because I had to invoke the Ecuadorian Constitution.
What kind of a government do they have down there?
Now,
There's democratic elections, but the party, there's many parties. It's not like here where there's two main parties. There's many parties, and people sometimes splinter off and make another one. And but the party that was in power for many of the years that we've been administrating was more socialistic, and they were much more restrictive. The current president, he's not, I don't know if he's well liked, but he's much more democratic. But the Congress, there's a Congress that he has to work with, who are, I would say more, there's many more people that are more socialistic in the Congress. So it does make it difficult for him to
every
pass
new
laws,
project, any law is blocked there.
Yeah.
It doesn't pass. So that's the form of government we have. All right.
Must be time. There's also a table. We have extra literature, and then we have our prayer cards here, and a table with extra information about sponsoring kids and things like that. That you're welcome. You're also welcome to sign up for our newsletter if you don't get either our paper newsletter, which has been like a year since we sent one, but we're working on it, and our email updates. There's a place to sign up as well.
Thank you.
Thank you, guys. We'll meet back here in a few minutes.